morning and welcome to a special edition of Island Stat Sports Talk. I'm joined by Mark Morrison. Mark, it has been a while since people have seen you hit the road in Bermuda. You've been up to quite a few things for a number of years, but found your way back to what I would consider, what people would know you for, is your days of running. Bring us up to speed on what you've been doing up until this point, and now back into the sport of running.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much for having me on, Earl. And good morning, everybody. Everything for me basically has been going really well. I have managed to become the owner of a custom bike shop where I'm doing custom spray jobs on different frames and bicycle stuff, which has always been a passion of mine. Also, I was very blessed to be able to work with Adidas in the R&D of their racing shoes, mainly the Adios Pro, which is their carbon fiber shoe. And through that, obviously, I was doing some running with them and training a little bit, but I wasn't really serious. And at the end of last year, I was invited to a couple of private races just before Christmas, where I went out and ran some okay times, and that obviously got me a couple of conversations with people, and to where I'm just starting 2021 with a whole new fresh program.
Yeah, you kind of turned your interest a little bit because you had aspirations of doing an Ironman and so forth, but running has always been a part of whatever you decided to do. So now you're planning a new venture, trying to do some half marathon, trying to do some marathon times, and looking at I get, in our conversations, you're targeting some of the Bermuda records. At 36 years of age, how do you plan to kind of nail this down?
Well, exactly. Last year and the year before, the plan was definitely try to go to Kona in Hawaii. Obviously, I'm so inspired by the Bermuda triathletes who are doing so well, all of them, both at elite and in the age groups. So I wanted to be part of that. Hawaii has always been a dream of mine as I come from triathlons. However, with the current situation in the world, obviously Kona was postponed and then canceled, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do from a sporting point of view. I put in the hours, obviously, of Ironman training and was right about to prepare to do a 70.3 when the announcement that it was canceled happened. So that then led me into conversations with Adidas. And basically, my friend who's the rep in the UK said to me, why don't you just try and run a fast marathon? So obviously, I just started jumping in with those guys on the marathon training. Some of the times have been great. Some of the days have been long days. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of learning. I definitely have felt a difference between being 16 and running 1450, 1445 Ks to now trying to just sustain and doing like 35K 2-hour runs and up to maybe 40K and 210 in training. So, I mean, it's looking good. The way I see it is the marathon's the slow burn, really. It'll give me time to build into the race, which has always been better for me. I mean, people who have watched May 24th and seen me come down, I excel over the Harbor Road part because really, for the first bit, I don't have the leg speed of somebody like Chris or Tyler, who are outstanding athletes. And I want to say that both of the records that they have right now are absolutely phenomenal. And there's a lot of respect to everybody on the all-time top 10 list in Bermuda. They're all the who's who of Bermuda. And I thought to myself, I got to get myself somewhere on that list. So hopefully, I can make it onto the list. I don't know where. The plan will be to race a few elite, probably half marathons, and then just do my marathon debut in Berlin in September. And that will be basically, hopefully, where I try to break the national record.
when you look at setting goals for yourself, obviously the goals you've set for yourself this time around are really high, but in order to achieve anything, you've got to aim higher. Am I right?
Oh, most definitely. And I think I learned that lesson even when I was young. When I came out of Bermuda at 16, 15, I raced in New York at the state championships. And then I went away to school in England at 16. And I definitely learned my lesson in the first few races. I thought I was like really doing really well, and I obviously was running some great time. But as soon as I jumped into like the World Under 21 category or European uh, League category at Under 21, I definitely found out that instead of finishing in the top 3 or 4 in the local races, I was finishing in the top 25 and just about getting into the top 20. So I mean, but those results, they also give me a little bit of hope now as well, because I know that I don't have the track pedigree that if you look at somebody like Jake Smith, who's run some very fast times on the track. I don't have that, but I've run on the road, and I think personally proved myself on the road over 5K, 10K, 10 miles, 5 miles, and half marathon. To whereas I might not have Corrector Games medals. However, I have obviously performed much better on the road, and obviously in the cross country have won various individual medals, including the CAC bronze medal for Bermuda.
Obviously, it's a little different. I mean, Bermuda's terrain is far more strenuous at times. Some of the courses than what you'll be running over in the UK. But how does the opportunity to come back here and do some training would help you in setting your goals because of number one, our climate, number two, our terrain that would give you that speed that you're looking for over the distance.
Yeah, definitely, Earl. My favorite place to run in the world is Bermuda. I know I'm a bit biased being from Bermuda, but it's nice weather all year round. Nothing beats January coming down South Shore with the sun blazing, nice crisp day. You know, that's the best time to go out and do repeats and do all the long running you want. I obviously, before I owned the bike shop here, I used to come back every month for the whole month of January, try and race the race weekend, princess to princess. But for me in Bermuda, really, Earl, and this is a massive part of how I came back to running. When I was a little bit unsure after the disappointment with no Kona, I got on the phone and on the Facebook to a group of people in the Bermuda running community. And that small group of people has sort of nursed me along and helped me and encouraged me to push on and go for the marathon. And I think that definitely they're a big part of that. And for me, it's not just the terrain. I mean, we have the hardest cross countries, I think, in the world. I've done some super hard, wet, muddy ones here. Just yesterday, that 7.5 miles tempo run was all off road in about shin deep mud, and that really hurt. But definitely running on the beach, running in the weather. May 24th is always hot. You know, also with the triathlons, I've taken so many things out of my triathlon career and the great athletes who sort of taught me triathlon in Bermuda, whether or not professional or not. Those are the type of things that I'm actually using now in my career. Some great tips. I was taught how to kick at the end of a race by Neil DeSanqua and my dad on Vesey Street in 1996, 1997, coming down and then hitting it all the way to Barker's Hill. So, I mean, all those lessons, hopefully, that's what I think about when I'm in the races. When those guys, when the push comes at 15K, I think in my mind, here we go. It's burnt house. When the push comes at 30K, I'm like Hog Bay level, into school sports. It's time. This is where Tyler and Spencer and Henry Tolbert and Richard Walker, this is where they push on. Yeah, you have to go with it. And, it's multiple things like that. But definitely my time in Bermuda has shaped and helped me to be much, much better. And the way I say it is, it's like a war out here with the racing. Once we get the shoes on, it's every man for himself. So, it's great fun, definitely.
Now you've set yourself up to kind of help someone meet a goal that they're trying to meet with the qualifications of the Olympic Games. But it's kind of, you know, in our conversation, it's kind of you're there as support. What happens if you feel good on the day and it's there for you? Because every day, you know, something different, you feel good about something different, or it just doesn't feel right. What happens if you feel it on the day?
I mean, most definitely, Earl. I'd just like to say first and foremost, just a huge, huge thank you to Team T Elite and James T, who's the director of that program, as he's given me a spot this year on the team. So I'm going to be working along with him. It's such an honor to be asked to be involved with one of the premier teams in Europe. And obviously, having friends who racing there, Steve Mitchell, who's come through that program, and also right now, current Jake Liam Smith, who was born in Bermuda, who's run a 60-31 half marathon. I did a lot of chats with him before we sort of got together and talked with Steve, as the main thing for me is finding a program that sort of will fit around me and fit into my life of owning the shop. And a big part of my lifestyle now is my recovery and my sobriety. So I've obviously been blessed with the opportunity to be at that team, and being 36 and saying that I don't have the legs to maybe always go the distance over 10K. I think basically I'm not sure exactly how it will work, but definitely if they can go through in the first sort of mile, go sub 420s, and then just kind of drive the pace along. My goals definitely this year on the way to the marathon are to go under my 14:20 PB for 5K and my 20 or 31:50 PB on the road for 10K. However, in that race and in that trials, I mean, anything can happen. You know, we might get to the last mile, and if I'm in the group, well, I'm always there for a throwdown every single time. So, I mean, I would be over the moon to run somewhere even close to what Chris and Lamont have run for the national records. But at the moment, I mean, that's not the focus. The focus now is try and make sure at 35K that basically we can go away and run sub 16 minutes for the last 5K. And I mean, if the wheels come off at that point and it's a sub 220 performance, then I'll be absolutely over the moon with that. So thanks, stuff.
Yeah. Now that you find your way back into something that you're comfortable in doing and that is running, how difficult is it to get up in the morning and go for those long runs? I know you and I have been back and forth for quite some time, and I've seen the mileage, I've seen the effort, and as you said, it's you also got to work on that recovery time and everything. But how challenging is it to get up each and every morning and prepare yourself for this up and coming challenge, because you have to put the work in long before the actual event takes place?
Oh, most definitely. For me, my mindset and my training has been this time around. I know what I'm doing. I hate to say it now, I'm a veteran. I'm 36 years old. Yeah, exactly. I see you laughing. You know, 1998 was a long time ago. However, saying that, the best thing that I think and the way that I've always sort of looked at things is there's no way better than the old way. I mean, I obviously use the kit. I have the equipment that, you know, to do some of the specialized training. But I know, like you're saying now, December and January, there's nothing else. Being out there, out on the country, you know, putting in the mileage, in the cold, that's where the championships are won. They're not won in August. They're not won in September. They're not won in November. You know, when you're under the lights and everybody's there and the crowds, it won't be at Brandenburg Gate where hopefully I'm able to show everybody what I got in the tank. You know, it's out here now in these months where we're just putting away, you know, 100-kilometer weeks at the moment. Just trying to get the work done. But yeah, nothing at all beats the old school, you know, mustaches and rugby shorts, you know, the way the 70s was. You know, and if you look at the names on the list of the people who I'm trying to emulate in the marathon, you know, Jim Butterfield, Cal Bowley Hennessy, Kevin Smith, Jay Donovan, you know, these guys, you know, the brothers, obviously. You know, there's some great runners on here who, you know, that's how they did it. They went and put the miles out. And that's another thing that I think is, you know, Bermuda has such a rich marathon history, such a great tradition of marathon running. And not just in Bermuda. People have gone all over the world. When I look at the all-time list and I see where they were set, you know, we got a great contingent at New York, a great contingent at Boston. It's really encouraging to see Boston as a qualifier. I'm sorry, Bermuda Marathon as a qualifier for Boston. So definitely, you know, that's going to attract people from all over the world. And I know that I've personally just been looking into maybe coming back next year to race the full marathon in Bermuda. So that'll be my secondary marathon. But the main goal after Berlin will be working with Jamie and Jake and seeing if we can both go to the Commonwealth Games, obviously in our respective positions.
Now, of late, we've seen marathon, half marathon, 10Ks, all these records broken. And it's hard to believe that these records are being broken during this pandemic, where people, I guess, have to alter their training, but they're not doing a lot of racing. Are you surprised with so many records that have fallen over the last 6 months, both on the road and track?
I mean, it's always encouraging, definitely encouraging to see, you know, records getting broken. And I mean, my thought is that actually being at home, some of the work that you can do on a treadmill, you can't do out on the road. You know, like I was just saying, I'm an advocate for being out there, putting 100 miles, 100K in, whatever needs to happen. But I mean, I get onto the treadmill and, you know, this afternoon, I'm actually going to do it on the beach because I like it a little bit harder than some of the other boys. And when you're this age, you got to get out and live a little bit. You can't be in the house too long. But yeah, on the treadmill, this afternoon session is just a warm up, maybe 2.5 kilometers. And that'll be easy around 6-minute pace. And then what we'll do is 8 times 3 minutes repeats with a 1-minute jog in between. So, and I'll be looking at just over a kilometer, probably, or between just under and about 310. So 258 to 310 kilometers this afternoon, 8 times. And then we'll do about a 2.5K jog back to the house. But a lot of the time, I mean, especially earlier in the year when it was a lot colder and it probably end up snowing later on in the year, I'll definitely be in the treadmill. And I'll have heaters on and a sweater, and guys laugh at me when I do the runs. Guys show up now. They're wearing a vest, like a singlet, and the shorts. And I'm not kidding you. I don't know if you're, you know, if you're a Manchester City fan or just a Mario Balotelli fan, but you know when you used to see him in the Premier League and he had everything. That's me. Yeah, the Adidas rep has to hook me up with the winter stuff. And I'm going to tell everybody now, I know this is a little bit of a plug for Adidas, but that Code Ready stuff, yeah, a lot of stuff they just say things about, but that one, that ain't no joke. It does the job. You know, I'm out here every day for hours and hours, and we layer up, but yeah, Adidas Code Ready is the way to go for me.
Yeah. Now, obviously, over the years, injuries play a major part in whatever an athlete does and so forth. How have you managed not to stay injury free, but to maintain your fitness during this period?
Oh, I mean, a lot of it, Earl, is something that I'm going to say a word now nobody's ever heard me say publicly: discipline and focus. Yeah. And for me, I had to learn that over the years. You know, I'm coming back into the sport as a different person from outside of the track and off the road. You know, my life's different. I'm 20 years older now. It's one of them where I know now some of the things that basically that we needed to do. And one of the main things that I've had a lot of help with is that discipline, is that sticking down, getting the consistency. And that's what working with James is going to be more consistent. It's going to be better. I mean, I was just basically, I've coached myself over the last 2 years. And I mean, I've run okay in training. I know I've run down under 70 minutes for a half marathon. So obviously the results were there at those 2 private races that I did over in Wales. Those obviously were able to get me across the line and get me re-signed to some sort of team. But my main thing is I took a lot from the Ironman triathlon sort of community. And I mean, and as you know, as known Tyler Butterfield and Flora and Tyler Smith as triathletes, but mainly Tyler, you know, just that discipline, just that long hours. And I hate to say it, but you know, some of the struggles that I had in my life that led me to sitting in prison cells and whatnot. Some of that discipline has come across. You know, you talk about the lonely long distance miles of going out and being on that road on your own and running there and just being and staying focused to the wicket for, you know, 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours on the runs, 4-hour runs sometimes. Some of that is, I can take that because I just go into my mind and I say, Mark, you know, through experiences, through foolishness, through whatever things that you chose to do, you ended yourself up in a position. I used to be sitting in a cell in a tiny room for 23 hours a day. So I learned, obviously by force, how to discipline myself, how to go and do a workout in that scenario, how to make sure that if I was allowed to go to a gym or I was allowed to go to a playing field for 1 hour and get a shower and everything, I would go out. And, you know, and I used to think to myself, well, if you got 1 hour, then you got a 30-minute run in you. And if you ain't going to cross 5.5 or 5 miles, then mate, and the worst thing was everybody was there sitting off watching me. So, but, you know, it stings throughout my whole life like that. Obviously, I'm 2 years sober now. That's definitely been a huge change for me, but it's definitely helped and it's working. You know, I'm getting things happening in my life that weren't happening before because I'm doing the things that are leading up to it, you know, and it's all encouragement. I just obviously so much for everybody. It's a massive thank you. There's a lot of Bermudians tune in. They come and they look on my Facebook. They leave comments. They like my posts. They go on the Instagram. You know, people. I have my own show coming out soon where we're going to go on and show off some of the stuff in the bike shop and show off some of the trainings. And I'll get you to have a little behind the scenes look at some of the Team T professional stuff. We're going to go over to see some of the Adidas stuff. So that'll be really good. And all of these are definitely opportunities that I wouldn't have been able to have. And I mean, so it's not just the running anymore. For me, it's the whole sports lifestyle. And I'm 100% in. I mean, the break that I had showed me that I'm an addict, but I'm also an addict for the racing, you know? And it's my responsibility to let that addiction be the strongest one. So I have no trouble getting up in the morning, you know, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm going on because I want to see how many people looked at the workout yesterday. I really want to know if, you know, somebody else on the team has had a look on the workout and liked my post. And then I have a look and see on their Strava, oh, so, you know, Jake was down in Devon doing the run. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm out the door now. This man's run 60:31. You know, I can't get shown up as well because these guys are young. You know, you got guys, Jake's under 23 British record holder, you know, so at under 23, he's having a great time, and it's such an honor and a privilege to be just a small part of getting to know that and getting to actually learn discipline and take a lot away from what he's doing and learning things. And hopefully, I mean, I'm bringing other things to the table, and obviously, you know, when we go to doing those trials and we go to doing those pacings, I mean, I'm basically looking at doing about 8.5 to 9 minutes of just solid running. You know, whatever that may be, that will be. After that, you know, if I have a 21-minute jog around, you know, that's great. If, you know, if I think that we're on the money, I might go and see if I can run quite a fast 5K off of the back of that. because that would be a good setup for me. But really, it's just about the long miles this year, and just I can hit the paces, I can get on the kilometer markers, on the paces that Jamie's asking for at the moment, and that the team wants to see. The situation now is just getting the consistency and be able to bang those kilometers out for 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. At 3:15 to 3:20 kilometers pace, it sort of builds on you. It really does. So, it's big plans this year, and hopefully things just sort of come into place. I'm sort of winging it as well now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all know the unknown is COVID, and unsure of what events will take place. And so, but you have to be ready just in case they do go on. But with the unknown, how have you mentally stayed in it? Because there's been a lot of professional athletes out there who will be saying they're coming to the end of their careers, and they wanted to end it in 2020, still unsure about 2021. So mentally, how have you kind of stayed in it to try to accomplish your goals, and the mere fact that if it doesn't come off, then what?
I mean, and I've told Tyler he's got one more corner in him. So, definitely at the end of our careers, definitely, it would have been easy to close the doors. Also for me, I mean, I was pretty much out of the sport. I was doing a little bit of running. I had started the bike shop, and obviously within a sporting environment. But really, for the people that we are, and I mean, I can only speak for myself. I know that Tyler's a super awesome athlete, and the history of his family, and obviously my daddy was a racer as well. So I think that basically, guys like us, we ain't gonna stop. We might be there, 65, 70 years old. We might have a hook down South Shore one day, when everything's going back to normal,
Yeah.
I'll tell Tyler, I'll put the challenge, 2030, we guys go for a hook on South Shore. No, I'm absolutely sure that if I had closed off with the career now, I probably would have been happy with my junior performances and some of my younger performances, but I felt like I left a few things unturned. I won 800 meters, 1500 meters, and 3000 on the track as a high school or secondary school student. I clean sweeped at the inter-schools cross country as a junior, and obviously won junior cross country leagues, and have felt like obviously on the road had a very, very good young career, and leading all the way up to half marathon, which I'm not sure if one of these young guys, probably Tyler Smith, might have broken it now, but I think my 1:16:38, May 24th, is the under 18 record for half marathon. However, I felt like it was a stone unturned, and almost I drew some inspiration from Kenenisa Bekele. I mean, I watched this documentary, and guys are saying, you've done everything, but you can't run a fast marathon, so you won't be the greatest. You won't get compared to Haile Gabriel Selassie because you haven't gone there. And you look at him. He put the work in. He went away, and it didn't come immediately. And that's something that I'm prepared, I think, partially anyway, as much as I feel that I have been able to start preparing myself for. If the wheels break and come off, I might end up walking to, a 3:39 marathon, which is, I did attempt to do a marathon when I was about 17 as a training run, and I ran 3:39, so I have done a marathon, so I do know the distance, and it was a big kick. On that day, actually, I ran the first lap with Jamie, which probably wasn't as smart as possible, because we went through 1:20 for the first half, and that was in the Bermuda Marathon. And then by the time we got back round to McGaw's Hill, that's it. The lights went out at 17 miles, and obviously I had never even run that. I just run May 24th as the furthest run. So, I mean, I walked, and I felt the experience, and, I've done all these things now. over my life, and I've gone out and I've run some heavy cross country and off road. I don't know if you follow any of the ultra running, but last year I was up in the north in Middlesbrough. I was based out of Middlesbrough Football Club, where I was working with the physios and some of the coaching staff there to just help get myself into that situation right before we went to those two private races. Mm-hmm. And my feelings was just trying to move forward now. Basically, I feel like I sort of owe a thank you. I owe myself one good marathon, definitely. You know, I owe Mark a good hard marathon, and I owe it because I want to write it on the PBs. You know, I write my PBs, and there's nothing at the end, just like Kenneth, and I say no. I'm gonna have something down there, you know. And I mean, I don't know. You can't start writing 14s for 5K and start writing 3 hours 39 for the marathon. People start asking you questions. So I'm telling you now, in the training group, guys, I've asked a few questions. But yeah, my thing is also, you know, I came back to Bermuda a couple of years ago, ran the marathon on 24th of May, you know, and I came down real easy. I enjoyed myself. I weighed, you know, and it was the best race I've ever done, and that showed me how much I love running. You know, the community in Bermuda. So also, I want to say, obviously, I had a checkered past in Bermuda. Sorry, and I've done a couple of laps of the track. So this is also a big thank you to everybody, not only in the running and triathlon communities, who have supported me, stuck by me, and obviously know me a long time now. But yeah, to everybody, you know, this is a big thank you. And I just, you know, whatever I do out there, it's obviously part of it is inspired by all of you, most definitely. So thank you so much for all the support, the likes, and we'll just have to see how this year pans out. You know, COVID is an interesting time. I mean, I'm a big believer of, you know, let's stay with what the government's saying. Let's keep to the rules. You know, I mean, I got guys see us out running, but I'm in a structured, closed situation where we all live very close to each other, and we're meeting up with just those people. And when we're out running, really, I'm in the middle of nowhere in a field or out, you know, on a coastal path or on a beach. So I might be out for 2 hours of the day, but it's out in the fresh air, and I maybe see one person out in that country. Because, I mean, you know, when it's -3 and there's snow falling and the wind's 19 miles an hour, let me just tell you, it ain't too many guys out on that trail or on that beach with us. And I'm out there like Balotelli or whatever, yeah, running, thinking in my mind, this is Gaza, bro. This is out here. So, yeah. But I'm having a lot of fun with it, you know. And anybody who's known me through my running career, definitely, or even in my life, I've always done it the hard way. I like it the hard way, right? So, you know, here we are, and we'll see. But I'm definitely so excited. You know, it's an absolute privilege to work with Jamie over at Team T Elite, and we're working out of Cardiff Met University, and obviously that's a premier European team, which means hopefully, even if I'm just doing the pacing, even if I'm just doing, you know, just out there to do the work. I mean, I've moved into that part of my career now where I'm just the old guy they put on the front, take all the wind, go back and get a water bottle, get a jacket, you know. Ask the cyclist. I know when you were speaking with Connor White, obviously, you know, we have kind of sort of the same roles. He's a big engine. He's a big sort of worker for the team now. And as he's young, he's learning. I'm that same role, but the opposite. I'm going the other way, so I don't have to kick at the end because I'm older, not because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So, you know, but I'm just going to be one of the engines, really. And, I mean, at this point, if you can go out and you can run 4:35 to 4:45 miles, then you can just hang on, really. And, you know, at that pace, it's sort of in auto control. So I like following the jerseys. And, you know, I always say to guys, I get the best seat in the house. You know, when it goes bang, I'm there. And you know what? For me, that's it. If I can stay with him where I can watch the end of the race, because I'm a sports fan, like everybody. You know, I'm a total sportsman. You know, I played my football. I've I played cricket for Western Stars when I was young for years. Also played field hockey, rugby, all sorts of things. So I love any sport. So really, my goal is to get in so I can watch the finish. And to put it in perspective, over a marathon, I mean, these guys are talking about now, they're running about 12.7 to 12.8 miles an hour the whole way. Obviously that's not cruising along. And if you're just watching the show at that point, well, you're doing really good. But a lot of it is diet. A lot of it is, just the more structured living, the more dedication, because I know that I only have really one more shot at this. At 36, I'm looking at probably a 4-year plan now. The main goal is Berlin, and then in 2022, Birmingham is the Commonwealth Games. We're just waiting now. We talked a little bit with the BNAA for to get the qualifying times and the standards, and so we're going to work with them over the year to ensure that we're able to qualify and be obviously present for that. Again, a big thank you to them, and especially to Donna Rayner and Freddie Evans. Those guys took time out of their schedules to message me and also to share encouragement with me. And obviously, they are tracking the situation as well, as I definitely want to be there wearing the Bermuda vest. I mean, I'm not sure how Work's going to feel about that. So I think what we're going to do probably is we'll just stick a little Bermuda flag on, or I don't know if we can get some Bermuda socks or something, but definitely I'm going to make sure that when I come down, I'll definitely have a Bermuda flag somewhere on me. We'll talk with Jamie. I know he's a big advocate for Bermuda for that. So obviously, yeah, this is a massive thank you for you guys. So when you see that little flag on the jersey, know that every single one of you was out there with me. Definitely, you felt it with me, and I definitely feel you when I'm out there training.
Yeah. Well, I want to say continue, strive for the best, keep your goals in sight. It's one day at a time. It's one step at a time. I know I've been tracking you for a little while now. We've had our conversations. So we'll continue to follow and keep Bermuda abreast of what you're doing, and especially when you make your next move, your next attempt, your next push for your team as well, because in a team sport, although you're running by yourself, in a team sport, it takes everyone.
Yeah. Also, absolutely. And I just want to stress that I'm really I'm coming into that program now at 36 to be a worker. And the main goal for me is as well as trying to run a fast Bermuda time and obviously put our country out there and show some of the young athletes who are coming up that not only can we compete on the track, Bermuda has a great road history and a great and wonderful marathon history. If any young runners wanted to look into the marathon, we got some supermen and we have some absolutely brilliant women. Debbie Butterfield, Sandra Mewitt. These women have run absolutely phenomenal times. I'm sure I've left a few names out. Anna Hesley, I'm sure, has run some very fast times. But I just want to say definitely that. And also, I was there at Inter-School Sports. I was there up National Stadium, I've been up Police Field and down to the Arboretum with Cal Simons after school every day of the week, with Pacers Track Club. I've been with Steve Burgess out on North Shore, cold nights in December practicing for Front Street Mile, doing those workouts. And now here I am, I'm sitting here. I have a contract racing with Adidas, and I am racing now one of the premier teams in Europe. And it's all hard work. It is. It's definitely all hard work. I mean, I've had opportunities to go and do things, but really, I looked the other day at my stats, and I think it's I got a new watch at my birthday in May, so May the 2nd, and my January 31st or my December 31st stats on Strava was 690 kilometers of running, so in about 6 months. So I mean, we were just basically jumped right in and putting a lot of the work in. So this time around, also not only that, it's just hoping that I can pass a few things along. it would be absolutely wonderful for me to see Jake go to the Olympics and run some amazing times. Sorry, and run some amazing times. And know that I was able to maybe do a little bit to do anything to help that, or even if I was just in there, ran the first 3 minutes, and the first K, and we went through in 2:57. I mean, but that's what we're talking about. I talked to a guy the other day at a little Adidas conference that we had with the headquarters, and he's a really fast guy, Kimberwhite Candier, who ran 57:32 for half marathon. So I had the privilege of speaking to him last week, and obviously with a group, so it wasn't just me. But in that discussion that we had, he was telling us between 18 kilometers and 19 kilometers during that half marathon performance, he threw in a 2:47 kilometer. I mean, I don't know if guys in Bermuda can realize how quick that is. However, at the top peak of our running, I mean, for myself, 2:47 is really cooking it. Anything under 2:50, I'm in sixth gear and I'm really, really moving. If you remember back to seeing Front Street Mile kind of running, it's that fast the whole way. And if you're talking about you're going to throw that in, at maybe 10 and a half, 11 miles, if you're throwing that into the mix, that's the standard. We went out yesterday in that cross country, and at 12, between 11 and 12 kilometers, which was the last kilometer, I ran 3:54, and that was probably just about getting up to race pace. So to put that in perspective, that's the difference between the really best in the world and where we're sort of looking right now as of today. But all this is obviously really encouraging, and thank you so much for your support and your interest in my career and my life. And I just want to say, Bermuda, just stay tuned. It's going to be an epic year, and my motto is absolute belief, because I've been here before. I've thought about winning a championship. I've sat there, down in my schoolrooms just thinking about winning at inter-school sports. I've sat there and thought about all the things, that lead up to 24th of May. I've been away in school thinking about 24th of May, university, and then planning on coming back. So for me, and I love a championship racing. So I'm just taking it like it's a championship, like we're going out there and we're going to have it as a champ. So for me, Berlin is just like a marathon championship, and it's my full elite debut. So, I mean, I'm going to have fun with it, but, it's a serious thing, and I'm going to throw everything at it and see, what I have left in the locker. Because the quicker that we can get that, I think maybe the quicker I can retire from competitive sport. Somebody asked me what was I planning to do after this, and the answer is own the bike shop, and I think professional hammocking is a thing. So you buy a hammock, you put it up, and you become a professional and chilling out in it. I mean, I know I'll always be out on the road. One of my all-time idols and heroes in the running community was Ludwig Kahn. And as we all know, Luddy ran all the way, I think, deep into his 80s. And obviously his family are still great family friends of ours, and two of my really big supporters, Frankie Arash and Donna May. They check in every day, and I just special shout out to them because they're like my other Bermudian parents. They've been helping me off the road, on the road, So thank you so much, and I've been so humbled by all the outreach from Bermuda for this comeback, and hopefully, we'll just see, and it'll be one of them. It'll be great, man.
Definitely. Well, Mark, I want to thank you for your time. We'll stay in touch, and as you get closer to the first event, Berlin, we will definitely get back to you to see how things have progressed, and hopefully we're through this COVID stuff as much as we can to make sure that you stay healthy and you're able to accomplish your goals. Okay.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Earl. Yeah, and I'll definitely let you know. I think we'll probably be doing come April, hopefully with the COVID, we'll be going to a couple of the half marathons. I know that we got a couple planned. I'll try and get you some schedules for them. But yeah, so there should be a couple of things before Berlin. I have a very hopefully lucky opportunity where I'll be able to pace for some of the elite women over a half marathon. And so obviously Paris Cheptu and some of the elite women from Adidas, and they're 105 half marathon runners. So I'm hoping that they can drag me into a superhuman time as well. But thank you very much for your time, and we'll see how that goes. You know.
We'll stay tuned.
Thanks so much,
Have a
man.
good day, okay?
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
All right. Okay.
Okay, bye, everyone. Thank you. Stay safe and well.